Yo, welcome back to another banger episode of our podcast in the Playbook featuring the playoff podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the playoffs and what we've seen throughout the playoffs, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Izzer, you got something to tell them?
Yeah, I got to tell everybody, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you leave a big like button, and make sure you leave a comment down below so we know what we talk about in the next podcast coming up, guys.
Yes, sir.
Make sure to turn those notifications on, too, so you can get reminded every time we upload. Today, we're going to have, like, a state championship special. This will be uploaded the day of the AA state championship games.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna chat about what we've seen. Allegra and I have been shooting, like, on the courts for all the podcasts. These guys went to the Chev EL game, which was insane. We'll get into that. But what have you guys thought? So, like, what would you rate the playoffs so far? What did you guys think?
100%. Very interesting. Crazy upset that I've seen against Sheriffs and EL.
Yeah, that was
it was so crazy because at some point at the fourth quarter, there's like 1 minute left. That was the loudest gym. Like everybody was on their feet.
One ding because there was two turnovers. It was like 30 seconds left. The EL turns it over, and then Chevrolet turns it over, and Ding just gets this insane dunk, and the place was so loud. It was the most electric it's been all playoffs.
Because he was already ready, and then when Nicole missed it, he came back, and then when Nicole got it again, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go off," and then he went.
I was right in between EL's bench and the scorers table for that, so I was able to get that whole thing, and it was. Yeah. Insane. The crowd was insane.
Oh, yeah, the image you took. Oh, that one? Yeah. That one
I'm going to be honest, bro. That turnover that Chevrolet had, after they got that steal, and I think it was AJ who had the ball at the top of the key, if he was just a little bit more patient and took a dribble drive and then kick out to Leo or Sammy or Nico, I feel like they would have had a chance to win.
So, or like he used his last timeout with like a minute left.
Yeah, I didn't understand why.
So they didn't have any timeouts, which was super weird. All right, guys, let's talk about something simple but important. Water. We all drink it, but have you ever thought about what you're drinking it from? If you're still grabbing plastic bottles, you're probably getting a nice little side of microplastics with your water. Yeah, no thanks. That's where Maine Love comes in. They're canning some of the purest water on Earth, straight from Sebago Lake, one of the cleanest water sources in the U.S. The only one that has cleaner water is in Alaska, and we know we're not hiking up to Alaska for a drink. But it's not just about great water. It's about cutting down on plastic waste. Maine Love puts their water in sustainable aluminum cans, so you're ditching plastic bottles and all the junk that comes with them. Plus, it's Maine-based, woman-owned company that keeps local brewers working when they're not making beer. This means that every sip supports jobs, sustainability, and clean drinking water. So if you don't want microplastics in all your water and you actually care about what you're drinking, grab a can of Maine Love. Stay hydrated, help the planet, and support a business that's doing it right. Check them out at mainelove.com and mainelove on Instagram.
And also, I know I didn't introduce that many guests today, but we got Jojo here. Jojo Deschenes, Jojo MP4 on Instagram. And we also got Allegra, shot by Allegra on Instagram. So, hope you guys enjoy this episode. Let's get back into that talk.
If you guys want any shots coming up, AAU season, hit us up. We'll be free. Trying to put you guys out there, get your name out there.
Like they did to Ezekiel, man. That video.
That boy
he's blew up.
That boy famous now.
Mic'd up a little sixth grader Ezekiel and got like 3 million views on TikTok.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Crazy.
That boy Ezekiel. You got to get some more people mic'd up. You're going to get famous hella fast.
Just stay tuned. We'll be micing up maybe these two guys. You know, you might be seeing something.
I'm going to make sure I'm entertaining all y'all guys. I'm going to be cracking jokes.
So, fun fact, this will be a playoff podcast exclusive. I'm not going to say any names or team names, but I almost mic'd up a player right before a semifinal game. Mm-hmm. Coach cut it out right before. He was putting the setup on. Coach cut it. I completely understand. This is not a shot at the coach at all. I completely understand. I wouldn't even be surprised if he said that for a regular season game. Never mind a semifinal game in the Cross Insurance Arena. I was surreal driving there. I was like, is this actually about to happen? It would have been super cool, but I completely understand the circumstances. But with that being said, one of the first videos I posted got 3 million views with the mic'd up stuff. So I'm trying to do as much of that as I can. Not just for myself, but for other players. And I think anybody wants to reach out, get that set up. I think we could make some crazy stuff.
Crazy video.
And did you guys see the regional upset against Falmouth and what's it called, Noble?
Noble, yeah. 1 and 2. Yeah, that was such a good game, back and forth. Noble actually had a pretty big lead in the fourth quarter, and then Falmouth hits a three. What's his name?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I think it's like David or whatever. Or
Well, so they have Billy Burks, they have Davis Mann.
Yeah, Davis,
It
yeah.
was Ezra, I think was his name, who hit a huge three right after a offensive foul call on Bryce Guittard, and he hits a three, completely changes the momentum of the entire game, and then it was kind of just like back and forth, and Bryce hits a huge three after that, cuts it within like one score game, and then they hit free throws. Jameer comes up, gets a shot. It unfortunately just doesn't fall, bounced off the rim, and that's the end of Noble's season, unfortunately. But it was such an entertaining game, and tonight we'll actually see what Class A, like who wins Class A between Falmouth and Messalonsky.
Yeah.
wow, Solonsky made that one.
And then tomorrow, man. Tomorrow's the big game.
Tomorrow,
Big
big
game.
game. We
Yeah.
got.
Wait,
we
what
got
time is that
double
game
A,
at?
7:45.
Oh, okay, good.
And then the girls' games, don't sleep on the girls' games. That's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome to watch as well.
Is the Chevrolet
Oh, Sopo Chevrolet.
Sopo Chevrolet.
That's
Bro,
going
that was
to
literally
be-
the top, like literally all day at school for the past week. All I heard, Sopo girls, Sopo boys. They're all in the championship.
Yeah.
Everybody wants them to win at the same time. That'd be cool
Man,
though.
if both of them win, that's what happened to Yale back in like 2018.
Really?
The girls and the boys, yeah.
That was back then when
Wall.
yeah,
Wall
Wall.
was there, yeah.
Speaking of Wall, we actually saw him at the game. He was sitting right in
Oh,
front
no
of us.
way.
Yeah, my dad gave him a little bit some words about Ding, but besides that,
Yeah.
what do you think the atmosphere is like throughout the playoff games? I'm pretty sure, like after you said like you wanted to see more fans at the games, I think I've seen way more people at the games.
Once you start breaking into these regionals, even some of these semifinal games, like that EL Chev game, that was insane, and the atmosphere was.
Or the Wyndham Portland. Especially like we first went to go sit in like the Wyndham side and like we could not find a seat. Like
Yeah.
we tried to say it was
Yeah,
me,
they have a-
Lionel.
They have a big like basketball community over there. At Wyndham, there's like a bunch of people that support. Even at like different games like football, lacrosse, any single sport, they have a big community over there.
Yeah.
So we got to talk with AJ and Colin on the playoff
Yeah, on the
podcast.
interview.
Shout out them for having that interview. But AJ actually mentioned how his freshman year they like barely had a student section, but then they started winning, and the culture has just shifted in Wyndham, and it's super cool to see. He said it's basically like one big family, and you go to their games, you go to like a home game, and it's really like one big family.
So packed.
That's why I'm super excited to see how they're gonna match up against Sopo. This is going to be awesome.
I promise you, bro.
Pretty sure the Sopo fans are gonna be.
Yeah, Sopo, I'm telling you, half the school district's gonna be there. Maybe even the entire school district. Like even like the fifth graders, the little fifth graders know about the playoffs, bro.
I'm excited for the student sections
Yeah,
too.
the student
Sopo
section.
student section, don't be sleeping
Yo,
on
they
that.
love
Because
the
I remember they were talking about some players in like Portland, like the Wyndham student section. They were like talking trash to some of the players. I'm like, oh, what's going on here?
I mean, that at the position they're at, it depends on what side they're on.
Yeah.
They can chirp as much as they want.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
at
When they were
Sopo home
coming down,
games,
yeah.
sometimes they chirp, but it's not always because the athletic director like tells them not to. But like I'm pretty at the playoffs, I don't think he's gonna be there. So I know they're gonna be going
They use
crazy,
the
bro.
opportunity because like the AD, he's not there, or
Yeah.
they're not there anyway. So
Sometimes the 80s kill the
Speaking
vibe.
of
But
that,
Yeah.
I saw in that Chevrolet EL game, there was like grown-ups. They were chirping back and forth on both sides. So it was like one side of the stadium.
I heard that at
arena.
some point.
There was like three people. I think I have it on video.
I remember the guys
actually.
behind us. You
Oh
remember the
yeah,
guys, the two
I
guys
think it
behind
was-
us.
I think it was what's his name? Quentin's dad was
Yeah,
sitting
Quentin's
behind us.
dad, yeah.
He was getting mad at the refs, bro. The refs were making bad
Oh,
calls.
a lot of refs
yeah,
selling.
The
yeah,
refs were
yeah.
selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was actually so terrible.
A lot of people said the game is the reason why. You know, they were like, "Oh, the reason why EO won is because of the refs." But I don't feel like
There's
That was
some
a
weird
ref.
call. I can't lie, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. There's some weird calls happening. Like many weird calls.
I
the
agree.
Wyndham game too.
I completely agree. Yes, the refs like obviously aren't
Yeah, they're
perfect,
not-
and we
yeah, they're
did
not
like last
perfect.
year. We've had a refs shortage, so
Yeah.
like all of the ones who can, it's obviously like better than nothing. But especially in that Noble Yarmouth game, at the end, like they were kind of letting stuff go throughout the whole game,
Yeah.
and then it's the final clutch minutes, and then they start calling
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, I
and it's
saw that.
kind of weird and inconsistent. Obviously, I'm not a ref, but I would like to see the kind of let the players play almost, especially in those games. And I think we kind of saw that more towards the end in like the AA games. They were really letting like Bonnie Eagle and Thornton Academy play.
Yeah.
They were really letting these teams, these bigger teams play, and it was kind of cool to see. It's also just a more entertaining game, in my opinion, when it's like fast-paced and there's not foul.
Well, we appreciate the rest because we had a rest shortage, but they're doing their job. They're trying their best. But how do you think like the higher seed teams are going to be able to handle like the championship pressure?
I think it's going to be interesting to see because Wyndham won last year, so I think it's going to be very interesting to see how.
And Sopo's been to the finals like 3 times.
Yeah, Sopo's known to
So
be
basically-
in the
Yeah.
finals. They're used to it, so it's like they're almost like it's kind of like going into like a Celtics or a Lakers organization where you're supposed to win, and so it's gonna be a super interesting game to see everybody pop out to that game because it's gonna be not only the players but like the coaches, the way they're gonna strategize and have like the momentum and everything. It's gonna be super entertaining.
Talking
to
about the
watch.
coaches, I mean, like, the Sopo coach is my history teacher at Wyndham.
No way.
And then,
No way.
One of the coaches at Wyndham as well. Like he coaches right across like
Whoa.
classroom.
That's
right across each other,
insane.
so, like,
Yo.
So he teaches at Wyndham, but he's a coach at Sopo.
yeah, and then one
And
of
his
the coaches
kids go to
at
Sopo with me.
Yeah, and then one of the
Yeah.
kids at Sopo. I mean, one of the coaches at Wyndham teaches across the hall from the Sopo coach as well. So,
Yo, that's
So
actually
like,
so
is it
good.
like?
It's bigger than basketball at this
Yeah.
point.
Yo,
Do
that's so
you guys
crazy.
do you see them like sometimes beef?
yeah,
them?
I mean, sometimes they talk about like how the game's gonna go and stuff like that. So,
I feel like they're just trying to be humble, and then when they play, they're actually
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah,
head to head.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Millington is like a humble guy, so he's gonna handle it.
Yeah, he's a
Never
chill
know,
guy. He's
man.
a chill guy.
Sometimes people be talking a lot of trash behind your back, though.
So, how do you think the top performers are gonna like just perform under like playoff pressure? You think they're gonna be able to handle it? Like basically, let me use an example. Basically, what's his name? Cole. Every time throughout the game, he was always at his A game. You think any of those players are gonna be able to be consistent, or just up and down?
I think Wyndham has a lot of players to like back on, so I think they're pretty consistent overall. But I think honestly, the players between Sopo and Wyndham, they have pretty like mature, and obviously you have to be a certain like team to get to the state championship. So I don't think the pressure will necessarily crack, but I think coach game plans like might like you even saw with like Ding, the way teams like Lewiston played against Ding and stuff. The way you can kind of target players, some players might not be ready to like combat like a completely different defensive scheme or anything. So I think it'll be super interesting to see.
And what about like coaching strategies? Talking about like different defenses and how they're gonna be able to counter that. How do you think? Like, what do you think are some good strategies for some of these teams that you think the coach is gonna use to try to win?
Sopo, I would say like you definitely can't like let Manny drive because if he drives, he has like 2 options. He has the shooter and he has Darius.
He has
Yeah.
too
So,
many
like,
options, bro.
You got Carmine in the corner,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
you're just throwing it up to Darius.
Oh, it's like
So I was about to say, it's funny you mentioned that. It's going to be interesting to see how Chad, the coach of Wyndham, play like because they don't really have height. They have, I think, Colin is
Colin's
sophomore,
probably
is
like their tallest player.
It was
he
fun.
still did some good job against Ding. But, like,
Yeah, he did. AJ was really face guarding Ding that whole. That was super. I would hate to have AJ on me for an entire game. He was literally like a centimeter away from your face. Like that was crazy.
But
I mean-
players in playoff gotta keep their composure and be calm because like I see a lot of players just like missing layups and like I know I can't be talking to Oni, Nick Rady, and I'm like sometimes I miss layups, but like it's a playoff game. You're going into like your senior year, maybe you're graduating or anything, and like you're trying to go to the States, you're trying to win, and just like missing too many layups. Maybe you gotta work on it at home. I don't know.
Wide open.
It was
bro.
some wide open layups though. Like it was
so,
bad.
Like at that point, like every time some team was like leading, bro, I was on their side.
Yeah.
But after those 3 missed layups, I can't lie, bro. I didn't know who I was cheering for. I was just watching.
Well, speaking of 8th graders and like this, like bright lights and playoff stuff. What about Quinn Pelletier dropping
yeah.
43? 43. Bro.
Wait, but I thought you lose your eligibility when you play for like a high school team.
I wasn't
that's
wasn't
what I
really
was thinking.
sure about
Yeah.
how that whole situation,
But
because I've seen everywhere he's an 8th grader, but I'm not sure how he's playing in a high school state game.
Yeah, it's-
I've never had that clarified to
It's
me.
kind of like it's different for each and every state because some states have different rules about that. I know some states allow 8th graders to go up and play. I know I have a friend named Aiden. He plays for Mass Rivals. Aiden plays for JV for the high school or the private school he plays for. Because obviously they're not that great of a team, but they're pretty good though.
I think if you're private school, then you probably
Yeah, I
have
feel
to-
at
I'm not
private
sure.
schools you can. It just depends how like the AD feels about
Yeah,
it.
the AD feels about it.
Because some ADs are chill and then
Might lose
some-
eligibility.
some
Yeah,
are-
I think that was an awesome opportunity for Quinn. He's one of the like best players in his class, and being able to play at that level in playoffs and stuff.
that
So
that
there-
is true. That's a pretty
I
big
would love-
point.
I haven't like shot anything with those northern teams this year, unfortunately. We've kind of been south, but those northern teams, they got some dogs.
I've
on
actually
there.
never seen that many games from like the north, and I've actually seen some pretty good players, like some that I've never heard of, like at all.
Well, last year we had the Galley twins from Oceanside.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
they got-
Galley
yeah.
twins were.
They blew out of nowhere. Oh, Kent Hill?
Kent Hill
They-
now?
Oh, they came.
Wait.
Oh, so they.
Against Hill with Nate, with Tave.
So now are they with Lincoln?
Yeah, with Lincoln, yeah.
McClure.
Yeah.
Malacor.
But the
Malacor,
Oceanside
my
twins
guy.
just like came out of nowhere because I never heard of them, and then all I see is just like big time Maine just posting them. I'm like, who's these guys? They just like blew up out of nowhere.
Well, I made commitment posts for Cohen and Nate, and it was crazy because last year you have the Class B state champions Oceanside, bro, and they had the Class B champions Oceanside, and then they had Nate Hebert, who was like an insane shooter last year, and they won the state championship. So it was insane that they got like arguably the 3 best players in Maine all on their team. Crazy.
Who do you think has been like the shooters of the playoffs?
Oh my days,
Colin
Carmine
Janvin.
has to be number one.
Colin
Janvin.
Colin did pop off.
Carmine, Sofo.
Carmine is the first ever 6'5" shooter I've ever seen in my life.
He is a shooter, bro. I saw him.
No.
Glaze!
Please, bro. That boy's a shooter.
Yeah, he can shoot. I can't lie, bro. He can shoot like crazy, bro.
Oh,
I saw
He's
Sopo
lost aura.
play Gorham in a quarterfinal, and he hit like 5 threes or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
He went off.
Like when he played Deering at Sopo, he hit like 6 in a row in the same spot. Like 6, just knocked him down.
also there was
No, Bubba,
what's
come
his
on
name hit
now.
4?
No,
I remember
come on.
against Chevers. What's his name hit 4?
Who?
Against Chevers. What's his name? He hit 4.
Ty?
No.
Tyree?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
No, remember he hit the buzzer beater, like
Buzzer beater.
Muhammad's brother.
Rude one.
Yeah, Rowan. He had like
Rowan.
4. He had like 4 against
when
Chevers.
they upset
Yeah,
Chevers.
man.
That
They gotta
game-
get better in the rebound.
Yo, their rebounding was not so great that game. But what's it called? What is your prediction for the championship game? You're not gonna escape this one, Jojo.
My prediction is it's going to be a very good game. That's my prediction. I think both teams have pros and cons. It's going to be interesting to see how Wyndham battles with Darius, because Darius is such a big aggressive player, the big football guy. When I'm watching Darius play, I'm literally like, bro, he's like playing football out there basically. The way he can grab rebounds and just like use his body is insane.
You know that guy's a wide receiver, right?
He's huge, bro.
He's a wide receiver. At first, when I saw his like how big he was, I thought he was a tight end at least.
Bro, that's why he's so good at going up and getting rebounds with like
guy's
3 people on him.
Big, bro.
For the
Were
year-
you there when he put the putback? Were you
Yeah,
there?
he
Yeah,
got
I
that.
think-
He
oh,
got
yeah,
that.
you got that on
Yeah,
camera.
that
I
was him who
posted it
got
on my
that.
other account.
Darius doesn't want to go bet.
And also about your question. Honestly, even though I go to Wyndham, I have like Sofa winning it because they're kind of used to it, and like Mr. Millington and his coaching style is really good. Honestly, like being around those guys and like getting to know them and building a relationship with them, it's cool, and seeing how they play. I think they got it.
Yeah, don't let your Wyndham friends see this
Yeah,
video.
Hey,
You're
nah,
cooked.
nah.
You're cooked.
Yo, they're gonna
Well,
fry him.
Tyree and Manny, that matchup is gonna
Yeah.
be very fun to watch.
Yo, man, I feel like Manny's gonna absolutely abuse but I can't say that.
I don't know how many, because the thing about Wyndham is they play together so well as a family. But what if Manny goes off? Kind of like when we had Greg on last show, our first show. He said Sopo's just one Manny Hidalgo like heater from winning it all. Yeah. So like if Manny can go off, he completely can do everything. He hit like a basically like a logo deep three last game. And
yeah, I saw that.
Also like some crazy finishes where he's basically, I had a photo where he was like sideways, like a foot over the like
backward.
No, a foot over the floor.
You jump that high?
Bro. He was like sideways, almost like some Patrick Mahomes type throw where he's like sideways, but he threw it up and it just goes in, and it was insane.
You know, I do that sometimes. You know, you'll see it.
He uses his size though. He can
he might be small, but he he can
maneuver around.
The way he does it is actually so crazy.
And he's not scared to go.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, as a point guard, you have to be able to.
Somebody who's definitely not scared
contact.
to use contact is Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric.
Oh my God, that dude is.
Yo, he's actually he's a good defender. But that guy moves stiff. He's not like, I'm gonna say he's a point guard, but he's not like a guard, like a point guard. Like there's like levels to being a point guard. You can be a scoring guard, or you could be a facilitating guard that can get buckets.
I feel like
he's
more like
he's more or less like a two-way,
like
he's a two-way. Yeah, he's a defensive
Energizer bunny type.
Yeah, that's what he's like. Cause like it's
almost like Marcus Smart type.
Yeah, exactly. Because the amount of charges he takes, Israel, he's been to most of their games, and he's seen so many charges that he takes.
At least 3 charges every game.
Bro, well.
But he fouls a lot.
He fouled out against.
And he almost got teched up too. Mm-hmm. The ref gave him a warning.
But those refs, they called like 3 offensive. The refs have loved to call offensive fouls this playoff for some reason. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was one. It was Ding and AJ. It was Ding and AJ, and AJ kind of like fell over, and they called an offensive, and it's just, I mean, it's smart to do because he saw that the refs have been calling all these offensive fouls. He even saw it kind of dictate a South Regional game.
I mean, that's
he probably tried to copy it from Cedric.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think the refs sold the game in like some type of way?
No, I don't think. I think it's so easy to say yes because the momentum completely changed after that. But you can't have it. You can't have one play dictate the entire game. So they were up by like 10. Noble was up by 10, and they kind of let some points come back. So like you could obviously just say something about that, but it's easy to blame the refs. It's always so easy to blame the refs.
Because if you're up by 10, then you shouldn't be able to like maintain like your points. You should like go up instead of like going down. Because if you're going down, there must be something wrong, or either the refs, or either is the players, or either is the coach doing something wrong. Yeah.
I mean, I can't lie, bro. Keeping a good score in a very tight game is kind of hard, bro. Like, I'm gonna say from experience at Rivals, right? We were in New York for Junior 3 SSB. We were, I think, 1-1. If we won that game, we would go on to a finals, right? I'm telling you, we were hot straight out the jump. We hit like 5 threes from me and one of my teammates named Trey. We were just hot for the rest of the game, right? Third quarter, we started getting tired, but we still getting buckets, right? And the other team, one of their big men, like, he crashed out. He started swearing at the refs and hit the wall. They kicked him out, right? They gave him a tech. It was actually so funny. I had to keep him in my laughter. So after that, we were just going crazy. At some point, Trey and like me, we're just messing around, right? This guy hit a 3 and does a 360 and start like doing some dance, right? I told him, yo, chill. And all of a sudden, we're just down by 2, down by 5. Then we came back, right? Free throws. One of our teammates misses. They go down, hit basically almost a buzzer beater, right? It was 0.5 seconds left. I was actually so mad that we lost that game because we were up by 20 and then we got down by 2 and 5. So basically, it's like keeping consistency. It's kind of hard, but you got to be able to do that because it's an important game. But what do you think the predictions like for the score is going to be? Like around 60s, 70s. What do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be like 60, high 50s, both teams. I think it'll be a close game. What do you think, Allegra?
I think like for Wyndham, it's going to be either like 60s. From what I've seen before and what they score, I mean, I guess a good team, they can score like 60, 65, 70 sometimes. Sopo, they could probably get like about the same, like high 60s.
And what do you think? Like, what do you think about the matchups for both teams? Because for what I'm seeing for the matchups, I see Manny Tyree, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
a
see
pretty.
that.
That's a pretty
Small
good
guards and
matchup.
stuff, yeah.
And then you got what's his name?
Shooter to shooter.
Yeah, shooter. You got
Call
Tom on what's his name? AJ. You got Darius on what's his name?
Crady.
Yeah, Crady. And then you got Carmine on who?
Colin.
Yeah,
Maybe Connor, because Colin doesn't start.
Yeah.
Connor.
Yeah, exactly.
Colin didn't start in their either in their semifinal or I think he didn't start against Portland. That was a quarterfinal game. So it's gonna be super interesting to see.
And then you got Darius too.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they either got to double team Darius, double team Manny, or just play
Do some like
Well,
zones.
if they double
like some
team,
zone.
if they double team Darius and Manny's open, or
They guys, you know what they got to do? They got to stunt on help side. No strong side help, but like
act
go
like
back to
Colin
their guy.
Sexton when he
Exactly,
was.
you know, like that. Because that I honestly, from all the teaching that we gotten from coaches, that's actually taught us a lot. Because that works too. Because it makes the ball handler like doesn't know what to do, and then he makes a dumb mistake, turnover, our ball. So basically, that's a pretty good matchup. But they might have a little bit of difficulty with Manny and Darius and Carmine. But
I'm glad it's a debate though, because sometimes you get these state championship matchups and it's like, oh, it was like
This game.
we know
We know
who's
who's
gonna
gonna
win.
yeah,
And so I'm super excited for this game. But
I mean, people said that for Chevrolet and EL, but
that is
Yeah, I mean,
facts,
like,
bro.
Yeah.
They're all like, you know,
I was expecting Chevrolet to win by at least
I feel like
20.
they came in,
Yeah.
At least
cocky.
20. They came in too, like,
They
like,
came in too cocky.
They were
I-
flat
I-
almost.
yeah,
like when they were
exactly.
playing.
I was like, I told you I was the one. I was the
I'm
one
telling
rooting for
you,
EO. I'm like, I told you
I've
I
never
ate.
seen Israel predict something so accurately ever
I
in
was
my
like,
life.
EO's gonna win.
Like,
Trust
every
me.
time Israel says something, like when he says "trust me" on anything,
But
I never listen to this guy. Never.
But that game,
But that game, I promise you, that was actually the most craziest game I've ever seen.
That was I feel like there's always favors for like the upset or the underdog. Like you love to see your boys win and stuff, but then there's also like that thing like that crowd goes crazy when like the lower seed wins.
I was actually pretty surprised how I heard cheering from the side from Chevrolet. I was like, why are they cheering from that side? It's either people that just come here to watch and support whatever team who wins, or it's just like generally it's just too loud in there. But how do you think the winners will adjust their plans to secure their victory?
Like, I think. Are you talking about regional?
Yeah,
champions?
from regionals.
Okay.
And then like how they play in the States.
Honestly, like I see for Wyndham, no hate to like my guy. That's my guy Connor, but like, I think it would make a difference for Mr. Like Polkinen, Chad Polkinen, to have Colin start ahead of Connor, because like, well, as we know, Colin, he likes to shoot and he makes basically every single ball. And I saw that against when they played Oxford Hills. Even though they lost that game, Colin was still shooting and he started. Even with Tyree being out, I think that Connor should stay out for a little bit and then be the sixth man for Colin. And then for Sofo, honestly, yeah, I haven't seen him play that much other than like Wyndham, but I think, yeah, I honestly I don't have an opinion with them.
I don't know because Sopo is I don't know how they're gonna adjust. They're such a
They're
good
just a good team. in
like
general.
their passing is insane. Like
Exactly.
they came out against Bonnie, and their like Bonnie was like almost like a bigger team. I remember I think the coach right before was like he got asked how are you going to adjust for this game. He's like, I hope our players grow like 6 inches because Bonnie had 2 huge guys, but they came out and it was literally the ball didn't touch the floor. It was just like passing. The passing was super good. So I bet we'd see some more of that, obviously. But I think it's going to be super interesting how Wyndham stops or tries to stop Manny and Darius.
because he's gonna be hard.
And like from like Sopo's passing, it all comes from like obviously Manny getting it to Gabe, and then Gabe just like finds whoever he can find. Because every time Gabe, he'll literally catch the ball before he even catches it. He's already looking like this. Once he catches it, he dishes it to someone, bucket.
He's like the.
But
like the
Gabe is
secondary-
underrated. He's
he's
actually
like the
underdog.
secondary
Good as
point
hell,
guard.
bro.
of the
Yeah,
team.
exactly. He's there. Like nobody talks about him, but he's there. He can do his stuff. Like he can do his thing, But like he's got to be more consistent. from what I've seen.
He might show up tomorrow. Yeah,
He kind of reminds me,
Yeah.
like, bro, in these big games, sometimes those players that you don't really necessarily talk about, the
They're
top
the-
players,
they're the one that
always-
show up.
They pop
Yeah,
up
yeah.
because they're
Like-
out of the game plan or whatever.
Exactly.
Like for the Chevrolet game, I feel like Nicola, Cedric, and Nicole were the main players.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
went, Nicole went off. He was shooting.
Nicole was
like,
actually
he
doing.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I've never
wow.
seen that.
Yeah.
Like him, and obviously Leo just being that guy.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I've
Oh,
actually.
bro,
He's just
he's
tough.
insane.
Yo, his
Also, he
pull-up
got
game is
snubbed.
elite.
He
Like,
got snubbed from
yeah.
Mr. Maine basketball.
That one, he got robbed.
Yeah.
He
We
actually
wanna
got
talk about
robbed.
that?
What happened
Bro,
about that?
Bro, what the like? Leo's been top 2 player all year, and then he kind of gets snubbed from being a top 3 Mr. Maine basketball. I thought that was I wonder who's doing those selections, but I mean, all the players that got picked are great and deserving of that. But I just think for Leo, just because he's worked so
Yeah.
damn hard, and it
And
was
it's
his
his last
last
year,
it was his
too.
I
last
feel
year.
like the only reason why they did that is because like he lost to like EL, and they were like, oh, since he lost, let's try to like take him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Noble
Yeah.
lost too, but they
Noble.
lost in the regional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
regional.
And then, well, I think Chevis lost in the quarters. I think.
Quarter,
Yeah.
quarter. So it was like a little different for Leo and Jameer. Oh,
Yeah.
What?
yeah,
Wait,
that's true.
Ding
Ding
wasn't on there?
No, it was
How?
it was Jameer. I think it was Jameer, Wyatt, and Gabe Lash, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Wait, what school did you go to?
Gabe Lash.
Gabe
He goes
Madomic.
to yeah.
Madomic.
Madomic.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before. My fault.
Yeah.
But-
Honestly, if I was those people picking, I would have Ding at least top 3.
top 3.
I think
that's what I'm thinking.
I think
Minimum top
Jameer-
5.
Jameer, Leo, and
Yeah.
Ding is such
Yeah,
an easy
exactly.
top 3.
Because like he's the guy. He represents EL. He is the guy at EL and in Auburn, basically Lewiston too. You know, and like
Yeah.
he's just the face of that area. And like without him being on there, that's kind of like it's controversial. It's weird. It's not something you would expect, but like
Yeah.
in my opinion, top 3, at least 2.
So Wyatt was averaging like 26 a game this season. So it's like you have a lot of good players, so it's super hard to pick, but it's easy to kind of be upset because I was kind of expecting. You see Ding, he's like one of the most, if not the most entertaining player to watch. And how is this not top 3? Like you don't have other people creating highlights like that in Maine. So I think I just think it's interesting, and that's why I think sometimes players shouldn't be paying attention to all these awards almost because they just need to stay locked in to where they're at. Because and even like for the flip side, like if you get this award, you might kind of just chillax a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you might think, oh yeah, I am that good, versus a player who's like needs to prove himself.
At the same time, it's not good if you like don't give them at least some type of reward or like some type of prize. Yeah, like just a little bit of love, show some
think-
love.
Didn't Ding get all defensive?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
won.
did.
Yeah, I think he won.
Most of those awards went to like Jameer, I think.
Mhm.
He got like 4 or 5 of them or something.
Yeah, I know. I think Ding got the tourney MVP.
Yeah.
Davis Mann got the tourney MVP for A South after that regional final game, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ding, honestly, like I've been thinking about this. Like Ding is a good, like dominant player, and like if we had the right exposure in Maine, he would be playing in a different level
sure.
outside of Maine.
For sure.
Like a bunch of players too. Like last year, Quentin. I don't know his last name, but he went to prep
Easton.
school. Yeah, Quentin Easton. He went to a prep school in New Hampshire. He's playing over there. I don't know how he's doing, but it's a good team. St. Paul's. They're a good.
Oh yeah,
Wait, didn't
he's doing good.
They're a good team over there. I think
Yeah.
one of the Cougar Flags teammates like landed went over
Yeah.
there too. He played over there, so they're a good squad. I don't know why we don't have enough exposure over there to send people out.
I think. Well, I was actually. It's kind of crazy you mentioned this because I was just talking with a trainer up who's worked with Cooper and stuff. His name's Illy. He funniest guy, and we were talking about how exposure in Maine. Some of these players are super good, but it like kind of pisses you off
Yeah.
because they don't get that
Exactly.
exposure because we're in such a like
Yeah.
we're in the woods
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like if they want that exposure, they gotta go outside. Like they
That's what
gotta, they just
That's what I
gotta,
was saying.
Their
Maine
parents gotta
hoops
push them
stuff,
out.
Yeah.
like they gotta take them to like Mass. Like in Mass, there's so many AAU teams that you could go play for. Spartans, Mass Rivals, BABC,
Expressions.
Expressions.
Yeah.
Like, even Connecticut. You could go so many places. Like, even if you want to stay in New England, you can. Go to Vermont, prep schools in Vermont, Connecticut, New Hampshire. We got, what's it called?
Especially if you get invited to a
Exactly.
school, you should try to. You should
Exactly,
go
you
there.
should
instead
try
of,
to go.
Stay in Maine.
This
me,
guy,
me and
it's so
Brady were
fake.
talking about this. I think it's still possible with the amount of players we have in Maine, but like I think even like 2 years ago when these seniors or sophomores, like they could have made a team with some of the best kids in Maine and like playing a big circuit, even like Puma, even
Yeah,
like
Eagle.
Puma, like 3SSB. That's if EYBL. Like even with Cooper gone, we still have these great players that play with Cooper, like Sammy, Leo, and we could get Ding on there. We could get a bunch of players and then make a big AAU team.
But bro, even like your guys' class when you guys are seniors,
Yeah.
That's I feel
Bro,
like
I
Yeah,
was
we
looking-
could actually make a really good
like
team.
your guys,
Yeah, with
the
even
younger.
Team Maine and like Blue Wave. If you guys
Yeah.
combine that, you guys gonna be a dominant team.
Mhm.
Yeah, the coach.
but
I don't think-
the
I don't know
coaches
why
have
they're
beef
beefing.
together
I
and
don't-
they don't want to collab. That's
Yeah.
something they
No.
want to keep the players
Yeah,
separate.
yeah. If I mean, like rivalries and competition's good, like to like keep yourself like.
yeah, who's
getting better,
the
but if-
upper dog? You know?
I think a big thing, especially in our landscape, Allegra,
Yeah.
is a saying is don't compete, create.
Yeah.
So if you can just work together and see what we can build together, if Maine can come together, especially with media attention that
Yes.
Cooper is gonna get through the draft, it's gonna change your guys' life.
definitely.
Exactly.
If you just see like in 4 years from now where we could be, even the past 2 years, like how much it's grown just through media and Cooper and this exposure. And I think we're at a point where if we all came together, especially like what we're doing here on the playoff podcast,
Definitely.
is 4 years from now, who knows where this can take us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
And I think we can all just create something, and Maine could be like that next hub almost.
Exactly, because like ever since Cooper's made it out there, like I'm gonna be honest with you, I bet nobody in this country to get 3 million views on TikTok even knew who Ezekiel was.
No.
Just to be scrolling on TikTok and then seeing this kid from Maine, funniest person you ever seen mic'd up. I mean, that's basically just exposure.
Bro,
that's just-
shout out Ezekiel. He is
Ezekiel-
such a funny little
Yeah,
guy.
that
He
guy's
has
actually
such a
so
big
funny.
personality.
He said,
Yeah.
Yo, he said, why is my ELA teacher here,
Yeah,
bro?
bro. We gotta do some more stuff. They just
Yo.
want he's with Oldport and he's going to be, I can't wait to see him evolve as a player. He is going to be such a big personality when he's even your guys' age.
Wait. This is an actually interesting conversation because it has alternating matchup. I think you made this. Who you got 5v5, and it goes. I think
Oh, yep.
for the Class A, you have Jameer Rose, Bryce Guittard, I think, Davis Mann, Billy Burks, and Theo Powell against Tyree James, Akol Maywin, Creighton Dixon, Colin
Janvrin.
Janvrin. I almost said Jav.
And
And Ding Maywin.
So
That's actually
you would think the double. That's why I made that, because it was like you'd think the double A would take the cake. But if you look at the poll, we got 290 responses. 54%, a majority says Class A would win that matchup. So I think that would be very interesting. Who do you guys got for that matchup
mean,
though?
Class A's they have a pretty good
Oh yeah,
team.
I'm going with Class A.
Well, this is double A. That's A.
I think I know Theo Powell.
Oh no, double A. I'm sorry.
You
Double A.
definitely.
Theo Powell played for XL or
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, I think I've played
he
against
like won
him
the
too,
dunk,
right?
big time hoops dunk competition.
Oh.
He's a dog.
Oh shoot, Billy Burks. You know, so crazy.
Hey.
Bro,
I have some.
I want to say
I
something.
have a connection to that guy, Billy. Billy Burks came to our what's it called, early morning workouts throughout the summer. Remember?
I remember.
That was actually a
I put-
pretty cool experience.
I put Billy on this list because of that regional final game. That dude is an enemy. He jumped over like the media table and then came right back in. He had so much energy the entire.
One thing I'm
entire
gonna
game.
say. They're steeping on the Cole's balance. I'm just saying.
Yo,
I've been confirmed. When next season when he comes, I'm just saying, man.
Who?
Cole, his Sudanese bounce hasn't kicked in. Just next year, he's gonna get his growth spurt when he hits
Is
6,
he gonna
7.
get lengthy like
bro.
this?
Okay, bro, we get it.
When
He's
he
from
has
South
6, 7
Sudan,
in
but
his
like
bounce.
not everybody from Sudan has bounce, bro.
I know, but
Like,
hey,
like it's like I get it. It runs in their veins, but like it doesn't run that deep.
sure.
Everybody go fill out this poll and follow the Playoff Podcast.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who has. We're already at 200 followers or 203 followers. That's insane. Just started it the other day, and it's been so much fun trying to trying to get. We got interviews after the game. We'll hopefully bring you some after the state championship game.
You guys can find this podcast episode brought to you by the Spotlight TV. Make sure you guys go subscribe, like Israel said. Drop a like. Obviously, we need all that support. We thank you guys for supporting us throughout the way. We appreciate everything.